Welcome to the 5th video in the Casey Elevate video series. Be sure to check out our social media shown on screen for more of our videos and resources to help you get into university. This video is on the BMAT, and we'll take you through what the BMAT is and all the key dates and information to know, advice on Section 1, Section 2 and Section 3. If you prefer to skip to a particular section, just navigate to one of the timestamps shown on screen. The BMAT is a 2-hour aptitude test required by a select few universities to study medicine, to study dentistry, also veterinary sciences and biomedical sciences at Oxford. So the full list of universities that require the BMAT and the courses that they require it for are as follows. Brighton and Sussex Medical School for medicine, Imperial College London for medicine, Lancaster University for medicine and also medicine with a gateway year, UCL for medicine, Cambridge for medicine, University of Manchester for medicine and also medicine with a foundation year, Leeds for medicine and for medicine with a gateway year and also for their dentistry course, University of Oxford for medicine and biomedical sciences and traditionally they only accept the November BMAT, Oxford for graduate medicine as well, and finally Keele University for medicine. So generally it is available to take in September and November. However, in 2020 there won't be a September BMAT because of COVID-19. So there will just be a November date, and this year the test will be taking place on the 4th of November and the results will be coming out on the 27th of November. The standard fee for the BMAT is £59, however this can be reimbursed if you are eligible to receive it. And it is different from the UCAT in the sense that you have to register, everyone sort of takes it at the same time and you do register with the centre. Late registration, which is after October 15th, won't be eligible for reimbursement and you do have to pay an extra fee. So it will be more expensive than the £59. One thing to bear in mind with the BMAT is as you are taking it after the October 15th deadline, so after your UCAS application has been sent off, you have to choose your universities before knowing your actual BMAT score. So in sort of one sense it can be a risk in case you don't perform as well on the day. So it's advisable that you only apply to a maximum of 2 BMAT universities just to maximise your chances of getting an interview and of getting an offer. So in 2020, the test will actually be taken on a computer instead of pen and paper like it traditionally has been. There are 3 sections in total for the BMAT, and the first 2 are scored from 1 to 9, with 9 being the highest and sort of the average candidate score around 5. And the final section is an essay, which is scored from 1 to 5 and is given a band for quality of language of either an A, a C or an E.
So Section 1 of the BMAT is designed to test your aptitude skills. This covers 2 main areas, problem solving and understanding arguments. Previously it also covered data analysis and inference, but it doesn't cover that this year. So my best piece of advice for this section is to do all of the past papers that are available to you. The past papers are available on the BMAT website and you can access all the past papers, so make a checklist, go through them all, and that's the best way to practice Section 1. For the BMAT, you won't have a calculator, so you have to rely on mental arithmetics for the problem solving questions. So they're fairly straightforward questions, but it's up to you to deduce the information. You have 35 questions to answer in 60 minutes, all of which are multiple choice questions. So the first type of question was understanding arguments. This can be broken down into assessing how you can identify conclusions, flaws, reasons, and things that strengthen or weaken an argument. These are verbal questions which will be presented in a passage form. For example, the second type of question was problem solving. These will include mathematical problems, but not purely numbers. They will be presented as problems in word form, and you have to deduce the information, the relevant information from that question, and come up with an answer.
Section 2 of the BMAT is 30 minutes long. It consists of 27 GCSE and AS level maths and science questions. There are around 7 questions for each of the sciences and around 6 questions for maths. Section 2 is scored on a scale from 1.0 to 9.0 and the average mark is around 5.0. The first piece of advice I can give is make sure you do all of the practice papers. When you get a question wrong, then write this question down on a separate document to keep a note and try figure out why you got it wrong. If you get a factual question wrong, then you can revise the topic that you are struggling with using the Assumed Knowledge Guide found on the Cambridge Admissions website. We will leave a link in the description. If you are struggling with a certain problem-solving question, look at the answer key and then try work back from the answer to figure out the steps to solve the question. When doing past papers, identify which problem-solving questions take you longer than 2 minutes. These types of questions are the ones you should skip and leave to the end during the exam. This is because there are 27 questions in section 2 and the section 2 only lasts for 30 minutes. This gives you around 1 minute per question, so the longest time you should spend on one singular question is around 1.5 minutes. Most of the biology questions are factual recall and take only 10 to 15 seconds. You can use this extra time you save on the harder question. A score of 20 out of 27 is good enough for any university. So it's okay to admit when a question would take too long and skip it in the actual exam. So the strategy I would recommend is doing all the shorter factual recall questions at the beginning and then leaving all the harder, longer problem-solving questions at the end. If you don't study one of the 3 sciences or maths at A-level, please use the Assumed Knowledge Guide and to revise the topics that you're unsure of.
My name is Nafiz and I'm a second year GKT medic, and I'll be taking you through section 3 of your BMAT paper, the essay writing task. A lot of candidates find this part of the paper very daunting, but with a lot of hard work, preparation and practice, you'll be ready for whatever the exam throws at you. You'll be given 30 minutes to choose 1 out of 4 possible essay titles. You'll then be asked to plan and write up your essay onto a single sheet of A4 paper, and you won't be given any more paper to write on. The A4 sheet of paper is actually smaller than a standard A4 sheet of paper because there's space to write your candidate number and your name. And you're looking at writing a maximum of 3 to 4 paragraphs. You'll be assessed on your ability to convey your ideas and arguments in writing and your clarity in communication. You'll also be separately assessed and graded on your spelling, punctuation and grammar. Out of the 4 essay titles I mentioned earlier, 1 will usually be about medicine, 1 will usually be about veterinary sciences, 1 about current affairs, and 1 about a quote interpretation question. You'll also have accompanying sub-questions to each essay title, and I cannot stress this enough, but you must answer every single sub-question they're asking you. You have to answer everything that the essay title and all the questions are asking you. If you don't, the maximum an examiner can give you is a 2 out of 5. So if you take one thing away from this video is that you must answer everything the question is asking you. So how do you approach section 3? Firstly, look at all the essay titles you've been given and spend about 2 minutes thinking about all the points you can for each and every essay title. Now once you've done that, think about which essay title you've had the most points about and the ones that you're most confident in answering, and choose that one. A lot of candidates fall into the trap of thinking that they should choose the quote-unquote hardest essay title, usually the quote interpretation one, because they think they'll be marked up for it. I just want to clear up, you will never be penalised for choosing a quote-unquote easy essay title that the majority of the cohort chooses, and on the flip side you won't be given an extra credit for choosing a harder essay title. I think it would actually disadvantage you because it will be harder for you to write about. Finally, spend around 10 to 15 minutes writing up your essay. This should be the easy part if you've planned properly. Remember, like I said before, you've only got 1 A4 sheet of paper to write on, and you can write a max of 3 to 4 paragraphs. So make sure you don't focus too much on one part of the question. Make sure you're writing small so you can get as many key points in as possible, and make sure your writing is neat and legible. The last thing you want is an examiner not wanting to read your answer because it's not neat or it's really messy. At the end, quickly skim through your essay, making sure all your points are coherent and they make sense, and make sure you've not made any silly spelling, punctuation or grammar mistakes. So my top tips for before the exam, I'd say practice up to 3 essays in timed condition. Print out the official A4 sheet of paper you're going to be writing on from the BMAT website, and just time yourself, see how long it does take for you to write, fill the entire piece of paper neatly, and make sure it's small so you can get as many key points in as possible. That will just tell you how long it will probably take for you to do it in the exam. After the 3rd try, it's probably best not to write essays. They're a bit time consuming. What I'd say is just look at previous questions and write down all the points you can think about. If you do have the time, write an essay about it, get your peers to check it out, get your teachers to check it out, see if it's coherent, see if it's worded well, see if you're answering all the questions, and good luck.
Thanks for watching our video, and we hope it gave you some useful insight into the BMAT. Please help us to reach more people by sharing with your friends, following or subscribing, and commenting what you'd like to see more of. This video is part of our KC Elevate video series, and the rest of the videos can be found on our YouTube and IGTV page. We wish you the best of luck on your BMAT and your university application.